All right, everybody, we're back again. Happy Friday. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web with my guest, Jose Franco. Real quick, got to give a shout out to my boy, Richie, one of the best carpenters I've ever met in my life. Guy's done amazing stuff. And so we mentioned at the end of the last segment, you can call in. You can call in, harass me. You can call in, harass Jose. The number is 212-721-8183. Give us a call. So we finished the last segment talking about you've done a number of other things. You own a juice bar right now, but I think you told me you sold jewelry for a while. What else? What you got? I know you wrote a book too, but like chronologically, what was like your first business, your first kind of hustle?
So it's my first hustle. As a matter of fact, we're on 38th Street in the Garment District right now. So my first hustle started like a block from here. My mother used to work on 309 West 39th Street. She used to.
Oh wow!
My mother was a seamstress
right here.
So my mom used to do piecework. So that means they pay you by the piece. And so she had a machine. She used to do work at home, and they took my mom. They would bring work to my mom's to our house and pick it up by 1 o'clock and pay her cash. So one time they were going to pay my mother $75. And the person delivering told my mother, "Do you want the $75? Well, I'll give you these 100 dresses." It was an assortment of dresses. So I turned around. I was 9. I turned around and I told my mom,
started early.
I told my mom, take the dresses. And this is one of the things that my mom is not a woman that talks a lot. But this is one of the things that my mom did that she encouraged me. This is what my mom said. My mom didn't say no. My mom said to me, "I'll take the dresses, but you have to sell them yourself and make more than $75.
Right.
If you can do that, I'll take the dresses." So as a 9-year-old, I'm looking at the dresses. I knew nothing about dresses, but I'm eyeballing the dresses and everything. And I'm like, okay. So
that's probably commonplace where you grew up though, right? Guys just like the back of a truck, like looking at dresses. Yeah, give it to me.
So sure enough, took the dresses. And then from there, within 2 hours, I had made $107.
Nice.
And I came back. So my mom let me keep anything after the 75 was mine. And I had like 7, 8 dresses. I think I still had those dresses in a closet till like 1990.
You like framed them? Like instead of the first dollar he made, he's like got the first dress.
So that was the thing. I mean, full disclosure, my mom was a bookkeeper in the Dominican Republic, and that's her thing. And my brother went to business school. When I wasn't in school, my brother was in business school. My brother's a CPA. He's an accountant. So these books were always around me, but I didn't know I have the bug until I didn't go straight to school. And then after falling on my face a couple of times, I found direction. I found something that I was good at, and then I ran with it. Yeah. Then after I graduated, I worked at a business school. I did admissions, and I did real good at that. But what happened was a nice opportunity came up, and I went into jewelry. I had a very nice opportunity come up with jewelry, and it was good. I did that for 20-something years. And after I did that, when I transitioned from jewelry, I wanted to be close to home. So my wife and we opened up Stoop Juice, a juice bar.
And that was 2012?
2012. In 2012, we started. So what happened in the beginning of 2012, what we did was I went to work for someone, no pay, but I just wanted to, because I was going into another industry. So I just wanted to learn their operations. And I just said, I'll help you do the packaging and the marketing that I knew from dealing and selling so many SKUs, so many different items. So we sort of bartered. I bartered my expertise in marketing, and they just allowed me the ability to see their operations and work for them. So I did that for 3 months. And then after that, that's when within 9-10 months later, we opened up Stoop Juice.
And that kind of exchange is really extraordinary. I don't think enough people do that these days, but like back in the day, you would apprentice where you would make almost nothing
no.
or nothing.
Right.
And it was to learn a skill,
Yes.
to get good at it. But it's a different type of relationship than when you just, say, oh yeah, I'll take this job, and you come to a training program, and it's like they're just treating you like kind of any other employee. But when you show that kind of passion and drive and commitment and sacrifice, I think it's a different dynamic, and I think it's better for both people. But I think that's the way to get set up. If you really want to do something, you were talking about, like, if you want to go into business for yourself, that's one good way. Like
that's the start, because we
need to test the waters. You need to make sure you could do this like 60 plus hours a week and not hate it. Because if you do, and you got your whole bundle tied up in it, man, it's over. Ugly real fast.
It's over. It affects your mental health. And so what I learned in that spot, and this is conversations with my brother. My brother, and in his side, my brother works management in the accountant component. And I asked him and he's been working for the same company, and you rarely hear that. And what my brother says is that the biggest hindrance where he works is that people that work in his company, the people that don't get promoted, they do not first show the aptitude to do the work and take on the work and the responsibility, and then secure the title. What happens is people want the compensation without proving themselves. So what happens is you have this, it's a standoff. And with the people that are willing to say, take on the responsibilities and show and prove their worth, they go on to get the promotion, if that's what they want. Right.
And that's how I progressed. It was never enough for me to just take the position. Maybe there was like, I worked in a clothing store in a mall for a few months, and I just like, it was like 5 hours a week, it was for free clothes. It wasn't for, wasn't for money. I had like 3 other jobs at the time, but like the things that I was into and I knew I wanted to chase, I was always owning the next position while still getting paid less. And, my family and my friends would, they would talk down to me. They would say, man, those people are just taking advantage of you. Like, no, I'm doing this. And sure enough, every time I was either put in top management or partnership situations, at least got the offer for me to say, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to move on and do this next thing. Yeah, man, you can't be complacent. If you want to grow, can't be complacent. The same way plants fight for sunlight. It's like somebody's not getting the sunlight, and they're gonna go, and they're just gonna, and the other one's gonna stream up, man.
So what I find now, because people come in, here's the thing, more times, and this from my experience. So the biggest hindrance for me is I used to work for somebody, and I used to make real good money. So once you have the steady paycheck that's coming in, you have this perceived sense of security, and it's the opportunity cost of not doing that. And then, so there's this false sense of security. But there's really no security. When you work for somebody, the only thing that you're able to do is you don't take the problems with you on Friday, and you go home and you come back Monday and you keep to your schedule. But those problems are still there. And if they're in a manageable range and they can budget you into their vision, you still have a job. But if it's not in a manageable range and they can't afford you, guess what? Or they feel someone else, they can utilize the money with someone else instead of you, you don't have a job. So for me, the biggest obstacle was, I was working for someone, and I had a side hustle that wasn't conflicting, and it got to the point that the trade-off of the opportunity cost was minimal. So the time that I was spending at my main job was taking away from time that I could spend to make more money.
Just life out, right? Yeah.
So then it becomes a choice. Then you have to ask yourself, can you fly without a net? Or do you feel more comfortable flying with the fallacy of a safety net that someone else is providing for you, but they're not? Because once your added value diminishes based on their plan, not your plan, you're expendable.
Big time.
So
that's great. And it goes back to something you said in the first segment about self-realization and self-awareness. You know, you can be, have this facade of, oh, I work for this company, I have security.
No.
And for me, like, I would rather know what the issues are. Right. And it's why I love ownership.
Right.
Because it's the fight or flight response. I'd rather fight. I'd rather know straight up what's going on. Where am I going to be? I need to make plans other than, the layoff rate is like crazy right now. And the freelancing thing has gone up so much. And I mean, I think that's a good thing in a way. It's kind of like the gig economy thing is kind of questionable with people, but at least those people are just saying, I'm cool flying without a net.
Well, it at the end of the day, know yourself.
Yeah.
Because
and your situation.
Right. What may work for me may not work for you. Mm-hmm. But you can BS the world, but don't BS yourself.
And there's plenty of people that want that net and they want that situation and they don't care, and that's fine. Right. The point is, and you talked about it at the beginning too, if you think you want to do your own thing, like here are some things, like the problems go with you.
Right.
When you close the doors,
they're still there.
They come with you. If you have a weekend,
right.
I haven't had a weekend in a long time.
Hello.
But it's right. Hello. But I don't want one. It's like, I'd rather be there. I'd rather like always be in it. And it's one of the things I love about living in New York is that it's a 24/7 marketplace. We literally live in just like a bazaar, and it's just constantly churning. Some places get a little quiet at times in the night, but most of it's just like always going. And I love just always being engaged in it and having the ability to respond to it in real time rather than getting that email or getting that paper. I mean, I've rarely worked for other people, so I don't know that lifestyle so much. For most of my life, I've done my own thing. I didn't, a couple years here and there where I worked for other people, but most of the time it wasn't something I was committed to anyway. So it was like, either I'm gonna go or you're gonna let me go.
Right.
I'm already working. I'm always working on the next thing.
No,
it just never stopped. But those are good realities for people to consider if you think you're gonna branch out. And I really like how you described the trade-off between
big time
your real job and what you wanted to turn into your real job. How did you phrase it? You said there was a point where the opportunity
cost was immaterial because you can't be in two places at one time.
Right.
I think that
I try.
Well, yeah. I think the easiest way to explain, and it's something when we get back we can touch on. I'm big on creating acronyms. So the acronyms that I use is CENT. CENTS, and then I also add the last principle of Bezos' 14 principles. We can touch on that.
I don't know that.
That's Steve Bezos is the guy from Amazon.
Oh, Bezos, yeah.
Yeah.
I thouyou said something else.
Yeah, so and I can sprinkle a little Gary Vanerchuk. I don't know if you're a Gary Vanerchuk.
I was going to ask you. Oh, we need more time.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's my boy. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back shortly. Peace.